100. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hope, Triton, and Wilson. Mana unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. Our schedules have been so whack right now, but I'm so glad to be here.
You're
so
whack.
glad to be back in the country right now. I've had like everybody else here has had plenty of time with Forsaken, but I have not had like any time, but I managed to finish the story. I'm actually impressed with how far in light level I got. But Hove, how has your week been? How's your time in Forsaken been?
First of all, I talked to the president while you were gone. I tried to get him to hurry up and build that wall so that you couldn't come back, but it didn't work.
I don't think that applies to like people who are currently citizens of. I mean, you're talking about an imaginary scenario anyway, so.
Yeah, it's also an airplane Lego.
How big is this wall?
It's a really big wall. It's never mind. No, my week has been last 2 weeks have been really good, really crazy. I started my new position at work. Forsaken came out. I'm going to get my new Spider-Man themed PS4 Pro tomorrow.
Somebody else already has theirs.
Amazing. Ooh, someone beat you to the punch.
Anyway, I'm not using it today, but I got a new microphone.
Oh, you did? What
got
kind
there?
of mic is this? Ooh.
It's the brand new Yeti Nano that they just came out with, literally like
I said Danny.
Tuesday. Just
Yeah.
came out.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same as the Yeti. USB mic sounds really good, but it's like much smaller.
Okay.
So it's actually something I would think would be pretty good for you, Lego, with all the traveling you do.
Yeah, that would be great. I should mention we are sponsored by Blue Microphones and Headphones, and so they gave Hope this nifty little thing to check out. So we're excited about it, and I want to get my hands on it for traveling, like you said, Hope, because that would be awesome to have something compact like that.
It's I mean
Very
it's really nice. It's just like the same quality as a Yeti, which is really good, but it's small
Cool.
and tiny. I like it.
Never mind.
I'm not gonna go. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna
I'm not
sue
gonna.
for that.
We'll let Hope
Totally.
get that
Just
one.
gonna-
Hope's gonna get that one. Episode 100.
Yeah.
We're just gonna leave that one there.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're gonna leave that one alone for
I agree.
episode 100.
Bunch of gentlemen here.
Mhm.
Hey, when's Dongcast episode 2?
Is it like 176?
No,
I
that's
mean,
too
you had
far.
your chance while I was in Greece, but you didn't take
That's
it.
true.
So
No, I would never do it when you're not here. I have to do it when you're here.
Oh gosh. Well, it's never gonna happen then. Triton.
Is that a
how's-
challenge?
How's your week been?
My week has been incredible with Forsaken. So I mean, it's really nice. We got Labor Day off, and then in a position in work now that I've been there long enough that I can work from home for a couple days. So didn't have a lot coming out of the holiday weekend, so I was really able to hit Forsaken a fair amount. And been playing with a ton of the clanmates, some of our new clanmates, some of the old friends that I've made in Destiny 1, some newer friends that I've made since Destiny 2 came out. So it's just been an absolutely awesome week exploring all of the new content. And yeah, have been enjoying it, doing it with friends.
It's awesome.
How about you, Wilson?
Oh man. So with my summer job, I was a little worried at first that I wasn't gonna be able to have much time with Forsaken at launch. And like Triton said, I had Monday off, Labor Day, work Tuesday. It was a crappy day at work. We did this basement. It was hot. It was ridiculous, and nobody wanted to be there. And it has rained every single day since. So I've had the entire week off without having to plan for it. Like Mother Nature came through
Wow.
and made it rain. Not that kind of make it rain, Hove. I know what you think.
That's not.
He got so excited.
That's not what I was gonna. I
were
was
saying?
gonna say that again. You made me think of something with my new position. It's not as like strenuous, and I don't have to like be as in charge of things now. So like Monday, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna be like, hey, I don't want to come into work Friday, and I'm gonna take off. So who's down to raid?
Very nice.
No, I was asking if you guys wanted
Yeah,
to raid,
possibly.
and nobody
Yeah.
nobody said yes.
I can't confirm that. I don't know if Mother
can't
Nature is
get
going
it.
to.
I should be okay to do that.
I'm very
Oh no,
intrigued,
Triton,
though.
it's fine. I didn't mean you.
Yikes. But It has been great. I've had a lot of time with Forsaken. I've been juggling that with, yes, of course, more Pokemon Go. We're having an event this week. It's Triple Stardust. I've been literally grinding Forsaken, turning it off, grinding Pokemon Go, and then it's been a busy week, so I'm glad it's been raining.
Wow, I'm impressed you've been able to turn off Forsaken. It's hard for me to put down right now.
It is, but dude, Triple Stardust. I gotta get out there.
Yeah, you do have to get out there for Triple Stardust. I'm really happy I tagged Hove in one of those tweets you sent about Pokemon Go not that long ago.
Great.
That was awesome.
He liked it too. He's like, yo, I'm gonna yuck it up on Twitter like I'm mad, but like, this is awesome.
No, I was mad.
And thank you guys for liking that so that it kept coming back into Hove's feed for the next day.
Get out of my
appreciate
mentions.
that, so.
Yeah, he told me he downloaded the app. Like he's gonna be mad at me for calling him out, but he's gonna dabble in some Pokemon Go himself.
Oh,
Me?
you're getting into Pokemon?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I tried twice since it's been out, and both times I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Okay, well, this is episode 100.
Can I say one more thing?
I guess, yeah.
Well, in all seriousness, because it kind of goes back, and I have to clear something up. We had been planning on having a giveaway for episode 100. We are having a giveaway tonight in the podcast, but another blue giveaway, right?
Uh-huh.
There are 3 reasons we have not had it yet. 2 of them probably sound like excuses, but one of them is a real reason. One, I've just been really busy, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to set up, so I didn't do it. 2, we haven't all been here and really gotten it together, so I wanted to have it when we were all here. But 3, if you've been familiar with our blue giveaways, we are no longer being provided with your choice of a Blue Yeti or a set of blue Lola headphones, because now, when we do a blue giveaway, you now have your choice of a Blue Yeti microphone, a Blue Yeti Nano, blue Lola headphones, a Compass boom arm compatible with the Yeti and Yeti Nano, or the shock mount that are compatible with the Yeti and Yeti Nano. So now, if you win one of our giveaways, I wanted to wait until, even though I just found this out today, I'm going to act like we've been waiting on this. So we're going to have a giveaway soon, but now there's 5 things that you can choose from, which is super awesome. So it's not just, hey, do you need headphones or a mic? Maybe you need the boom arm. Maybe you need a shock mount. Maybe you want a traveling mic because you already have a Spark like Mr. Lay Flash over here. So we're going to have one soon, I promise.
Very nice. That's gonna be awesome. I'm glad we have that opportunity. But Forsaken is here. This is episode 100. Not only what? Oh,
there's one more thing you didn't talk about before we get to Forsaken.
Okay, go. What is it?
We have new people to play with Forsaken. Play Forsaken with.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, I did want to talk about this because Triton mentioned it, playing with new clanmates, and we were like, wait, what? If you're listening and you haven't heard, somehow Resolute has brought in new clanmates, and it is awesome. And so we wanted to talk about that for a second. We've got some fresh new meat. We've got Mark Square, which he is an incredible artist. It's amazing. I've been watching.
Yeah, have you seen the stuff he's been posting?
Well, he made a new I forgot what it's called, but like a new section of art that he's calling like the Resolute series, and it's been amazing. It's so great. I mean, all his stuff is good, but just watching that has been incredible. But I'm just gonna name off everyone on this list real quick. We got Briar Rabbit, the Briar Rabbit. What? Oh. Wait, who's in this clan now?
Why did we let him in?
Well, I'm just wondering, like how
we partied hard.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Well, I'm wondering, like, if we got Briar Rabbit in here, and we have Pope Bear in here.
Are there 2 Rezocasts on Thursday?
I don't know. I'm confused. And not only that, but like, how are Pope Bear and Briar Rabbit going to function together, like, cohesively in the same clan? I'm not sure how that's
a good
work.
point. That's a good point.
I don't know. They do fine in a podcast. So
they do, but they have like
great
mediators. I guess that's what we are in the clan.
True.
We'd be the mediators for that.
Now there's like 98 other mediators. Like
we've got Nubtron.
Yes.
We've got Cam, the gentleman.
Who,
Tech Doc.
if we mentioned that Mark Square is an artist, because we also mention that Cam is a chef because I love food, so we're gonna be best friends. Cam, I know I saw you're here somewhere. I love food.
Absolutely. We've got Azrael Speaks
Yes.
and Beautiful Dust, which Azrael has commented or listened to like every episode of this podcast. I just want to call that out. And so I'm super glad to have him in here. Boomslang, which Boom's been here, but
Yeah,
he's
back.
Seabay is in here as well, and also John PDP_impound is in here, which all great, awesome people. We're so glad to have you all here as part of the fam.
It's like I said on Twitter. I said this is way better than the time they let Marcus in. And the best part is the official clan Twitter liked that tweet, and Marcus was like, "What the fuck?" He was like, "Why did Team Rezo like that tweet?" I was like, "Oh, maybe they don't like you either."
Well, what's
Great.
funny
Yo,
to me,
I'm finally not the newest member. I think I was literally the
Yeah.
last person.
Wow, you guys are the last class that came in.
Yeah, totally. Like we're moving on up in the world. Welcome to all the new members.
Are
It's great.
Lego and I
love it.
are we the elder statesmen on the podcast? No, I guess
No,
Mana.
Triton.
Didn't you get in right after us, Triton?
No.
I got in at not Taken King in January
Yeah.
of 16.
He got in a
So
couple
I'm
months
almost
after
here.
us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. What I find hilarious is that John PDP Impound got added in after everyone else,
Yeah.
which is exactly what
Yeah,
happened to Windler.
Yep.
I'm like, is he gonna take the place of all the Windler jokes? You know, like, is
I
he
don't know
gonna
if that's
take the brunt
possible.
of that?
Never.
I was really happy. Not that I wasn't happy with everyone else, but I was happy when John got in at the end like that, because he was one that we had kind of like. He was one of our recommendations, and he was hung out with us a lot in Tampa, and we were like, John should be in the clan. He's super nice, and he hangs out with us, and he's a good dude. And then he didn't get in, and I was real sad, but then he did.
Yeah, a lot of those people that got in, Azrael, Marcus, John, all those guys were hanging out with us down in Florida and opened up the beach house to us, which was awesome and a great time. So it's good to have them in the clan now. I'm looking forward to playing with all you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to have some friends with us along this forsaken journey.
Oh my
Um,
god.
So much to do.
So I don't want to scare anyone off. We're not going to talk about spoilers right away, but it's been out a few days. Basically, what we're going to do is save story stuff for towards the end of the podcast, or towards the middle probably. We'll probably talk about it for a while, but there's a lot of other new stuff that has come out as well, especially since we've last did episode 99. So we want to talk about weapons, Gambit, Crucible. We got like lore collection tabs. We have like new types of bounties and all sorts of stuff. So, but before we even get into that, let's just jump to like our initial impressions of everything, having played it a little while, how we feeling about everything, and then we'll jump into some of the detail stuff and then do story, spoilery stuff after that. So, Hove, let's start with you. What's your take on everything right now in Forsaken?
It's good.
I
No,
expected nothing less.
Like, for real?
For real. No, in all seriousness, I know as Destiny fans, it's getting to that point where every time a content release comes out, I'm self-aware enough of the fact that we're all super excited and saying it's going to be great, right?
Yeah.
And it hasn't always been. We can all agree to that, right? You know, Destiny 2, blah, blah, blah.
Curse of Osiris.
So far, Forsaken is the first one, I think, that as excited as I was, and we kept saying they're going to fix this, they're going to do this. There's more to it than I thought, and it's better than I thought.
Wow.
I mean, it's we'll get into some of the details, but Dewey and I were playing earlier, and he was like, it's great. And he hadn't played in a long time. He started getting back into it coming up, over the summer. But, like, you can sign in like, oh, well, you know what I feel like doing Crucible today. I feel like doing bounties today. And all of them get you
There's
something.
so much to do.
Yeah. It's so good. Even though I haven't had a ton of time, I haven't touched PUBG or God of War, and I didn't go get my
Ooh.
Spider-Man PlayStation because I was like, well, I'll just
That's
play
the
some
real-
Forsaken.
Okay, that was a
today.
mistake though.
Hot damn. To Triton, that was a mistake. Because now Triton's got one up on you, dude. You know.
Definitely have that already. Actually, my controller got a little bug though. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that because I can't.
Oh, no.
I can't plug a headset into it, and it's just like static everywhere. We tested other controllers, so I know it's the controller, so I don't really know what to do.
Sounds like something
about that
Hove
one.
would sabotage you on.
Yep.
I could see that. I don't.
Has he touched
Yeah.
it? Has he been over and put his dirty paws on it?
No, I mean, we could keep running with like I'm only 2 floors down, but we're
But you're not.
let that one go as
You're
well.
not.
We're 100 episodes in now.
100 episodes in, so we won't run with that one.
It's dude, Forsaken. Like, I was like really curbing my expectations. Like, I was really.
Were you
kinda-
curbing your enthusiasm?
Ooh, there you go. I like it.
Mhm.
But I was just trying not to, because I get so excited, and then there's like that honeymoon phase when something new comes out, and
Yeah.
but with this, man, like they've really delivered. Like I'm having the time of my life in Crucible right now because there was a new weapon introduced, the bow. Having an absolute blast pairing that with a hand cannon.
Yeah.
You know, we got, which we'll get into later. Story was amazing, very immersive, and I really get into that kind of stuff. I'm excited that there's more lore. I'm building up lore tabs because once I start reading them, I can't stop. So I'm trying to mass a bunch of them, and it's just I feel the hobby coming back. You know what I mean? Like I kind of took a bit of a break for about the last month and a half, 2 months. Like I didn't do anything for my triumphs because I was like, I'm not gonna wear any of this armor. It's great to be
Yeah.
it's random rolls, guys. It's like in armor, in weapons. It's so cool looking at this weapon and analyzing how well like these perks can synergize with each other, or if it goes with the type of build that you're going for at the time, and it adds so much more depth, and it makes me slow down and stop and like think about things, whereas before I'd be like, this is trash, never gonna use it, this is trash, never gonna use it. And finally got to go through my vault, clean out all kinds of crap, dude.
Have you deleted any shaders, mass shader deletion yet?
Yeah, I went to the Cryptarch and did that. That was cool, man. I got like, it was like $3.5 grand of
Bright dust.
Of bright dust, and then like another $2.5 grand in legendary shards.
Man,
Something
great.
about the shader thing though drives me nuts and makes me obsessive compulsive.
that it's only 5? Is that what it is?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
But it can only be 5. So if you have
Yeah.
12 shaders and you
do
delete
the
2
other
stacks of them, it disappears. So
that is
You can do the
annoying.
last
I
two, you have to
can't-
go
It's
manually
not
do it.
gone. It just
it
doesn't
disappears
show
from
up.
Rahul.
From
Yeah.
Rahul.
So
You have to go do it
I
manually.
am insane. So I can't go to Rahul. I have to go into my inventory, delete
Shut
everything
up.
down to a multiple of 5, and then I go into Rahul.
What
It-
the hell is wrong?
No,
Okay,
no.
look-
It's not like I have to, but it drives me. I'm like, all right,
No, but
like
you have to.
it's so
I'm with you.
it's so cathartic to be like, that one's gone. Except I know it's not really gone. Do you know what I mean?
It's like an exotic saying it has these perks, but it doesn't really have those perks.
That
It
kind of
just-
drives me nuts too. Yeah. Oh, this has
really
extended
this
mag.
upset.
Does it? Does it really? Because I can only have 10 rounds in it. There's no gun with 8 rounds or 9 rounds. So does it really have an extended mag? All right.
Okay, wait. I gotta throw in something before Wilson keeps going too. I gotta say something about the bow real quick because yes, I'm with you, Wilson. I took it in
Oh, man.
first game of Rumble, just bow fusion rifle, and it
Oh.
was disgusting. It was
Yeah,
so
man.
good.
I
But-
do bow hand cannon. Try it.
Oh, that sounds good. That's my next
Ooh.
thing I gotta try because I was getting destroyed by some hand cannon stuff, and bow's really good long range. But what I was gonna say was, didn't we have Fatebringer on here before Forsaken came out, like just a few episodes ago? And we talked about the bow, and he was like, maybe it was Lightbreaker. It was one of them recently, and I remember they were like, I don't know if I'll get the bow, and Hove was like, dude, I think you're gonna like the bow, and they were like, nah, I don't know.
I think Fate really was into it. I think Light was like, Light was like, I want to try because it looks cool, but that's not my style. I shotgun.
Oh, okay.
That was Light.
Okay, because
Right.
I thought it was Fate for a second, and I think Fate is digging the bow because he just put up a meme that was it shows this goes into our Marvel side of our podcast, but he put up a thing from a little meme from Infinity War where it shows like child Gamora talking to Thanos, and she says, "Did you infuse it?" And Thanos goes, "Yes." And it shows a picture of the bow, and she goes, "What did it cost?" And he said, "Everything." And it shows all of your stacks of materials just at 0. It's so perfect.
Bows are great, man. Like, they're really good. The time to kill with, if you just use a bow, can be a little rough. If the person is engaging you. So what I like to do is, and I use it for short, medium, and long range. I always lead with it. So someone's coming around the corner, put it at head level, listen for if they jump or whatever, smack them in the face with an arrow, instantly switch to Ace of Spades, and take them down, dude. And I'm saying, man, it's at tops a 0.8 second time to kill if you land that headshot with the arrow and then follow up with a hand cannon shot. Like, it's that fast.
Well, it depends. Where are you counting the timer starting? Because if you're counting it when you shoot the arrow, then yeah, but I don't think that really counts because there is a prep to shooting the arrow. So I would count the time to kill at the beginning of that, right?
I mean, it
like
depends,
the
though.
pull
Like,
on
because
the bow.
I'm not always engaging someone, and I already have my bow pulled back.
I get what you're saying. I think
different. It's a little different. Like, that'd be like saying almost like looking down a sniper scope would start your time to kill.
Right, but you can quick scope. Like, that's like
you can, and you can also
if
not
you go
defuse
into
aim
an
down sights with the bow.
I don't think that would be considered the time to kill.
It depends though, because
Depends on the engagement.
You can't quick scope anyway because some bows have the like drawback time.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So
but that's what I'm saying. I lead with it though. I don't like go out, see a guy, he's engaging me, then pull my bow back. Like, I'm either waiting for them and knowing the flow of the battle. Like, that's like the whole. And I hate to bring up like Overwatch, but that's like the whole Hanzo thing. Like, you got to know.
I totally understand what you're talking about. I just don't think when you're talking about an official like weapons time to kill, I don't know that would count.
I hear you out. It's a special, like I said, it's a special circumstance. Like, if
it's like a fusion
if my bow's cocked and there's no one around, and I hit square and it kind of like resets it and brings it back, so I don't have to like ADS. That's just like a little tip. That's not really like anything to my point. But I'm ready to engage. My bow is cocked back. It's not like they're engaging me. I turn around, cock my bow. I see what you're saying.
I understand the real world application. I just don't. I do. I'm just saying, as far as an official time to kill, if you had to document it from okay, I'm going to shoot to okay, I shot, the time to kill would not count from when you let go of the arrow. It would start when you draw back.
Fair enough. Like, if it was a professional review, but I'm just saying, if I'm cocked back and some dude just happens to wander in my area,
understand that.
And I let that bitch fly and then follow up with an Ace of Spades, like, that's my point.
I get what y'all are both saying. I think we're gonna have to let this drop. I don't want to keep arguing. I think y'all are both gonna stick with your same side, and we'll have to wait for like Massive Breakdown or somebody to come out with that.
The thing is, I'm trying to say, like, I'm not even disagreeing. I don't know why you're disagreeing with me. Like, I'm saying I agree with you, but if you were talking about a time to kill, as far as officially timing it, it would not be that short. That's all.
Well, anyways, yes, bows are awesome. Wilson, did you have anything else about Forsaken you were gonna hit on? We kind of just got stuck on bows because they're so amazing.
No, bows, amazing. It has not left. I got one with Dragonfly. And
nice.
In my opinion, that is probably probably one of the best perks you can get on one of them.
I saw one that had somebody posted one. I could be wrong. Maybe it was like another armor piece or something. I can't remember if it was a bow perk or an armor piece, but something let you like hold your bow out charged for a longer period of time.
Yeah, because that's another thing. Your bow will reset without you hitting square. You can only charge it for or hold it for so long.
Yeah, right. But there was a perk that let you hold it for longer. I thought that was cool. Someone was saying like that was a really good role to have.
It's really cool because if you're aiming down sights with it, there's like a little meter, like a little bar, and it'll like go from yellow to green. Like, it'll
to green.
The bar will move. It'll fill up, and yellow, like, you can still get the distance, like a pretty good distance out of it if it's like full yellow, but you want it to be like full green, and if you hit square, you can watch that little meter go down, and then when you let go of square, it like goes back up. So it kind of helps you like quote unquote hard scope kind of.
Dude, how satisfying is that to use, right? Like to see it go green and then pop someone in the head with it, or
Every
even
pleasure zone.
PvE. It feels so satisfying.
Yeah, especially with Dragonfly on there. It's got
Ooh.
explosive tips and Dragonfly, so
That
just,
sounds so good.
just boom, boom. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Why is the
Is it-
perk called Dragonfly?
I don't know. I liked Firefly better.
Dragonflies don't have lights on them. They don't explode.
They don't.
They're just a big
Does it-
bug.
Doesn't the new Ace of Spades have like actual Firefly on it, not the Dragonfly
I
perk?
don't
Did
know.
Did I hear that right?
actually.
I don't know. I don't have it yet. I have had like I got home yesterday from London at like midday, like hopped on maybe at like 5 p.m. or 4 or something like that to try and play a little bit of Forsaken, and I've managed from yesterday to today to knock out the entire story, and I'm at 501 light I think right now. So I'm feeling good. Like I feel like I'm getting there.
And that's why
Um,
we didn't do the podcast last night, because Lego was traveling.
Yeah, sure.
Let's blame it on that.
We'll
It-
stick
that-
with that.
It definitely is a part of it for sure. But for me, like I feel like it has just been a crazy great amount of diversity playing through all. Like I'm not going to get into any spoilers, but just the way that you play the game now, just running through, having the different weapons to switch to in different slots, and the way the progression system works, it kind of like forces you to use like blues and stuff right now, so it's making you use all these different weapons and different slots that you're not used to. And it's weird at first. Like at first it was like, oh, this feels weird, like I like it, but I keep going to my heavy when I'm trying to pull out my sniper that's in my energy slot, and I'm just not used to that, you know, or my kinetic slot or whatever.
Right.
But at the same time, once I kind of got the feel for it and it was swapping between like a kinetic primary and a sniper rifle and then a rocket or grenade launcher or a shotgun or whatever, like it felt so good to have the diversity of gameplay plus the new supers, which we haven't talked at all about yet, and how they feel using. And I got my Sunbreaker, my new hammer, and the throwing hammer. I've been throwing it up. I don't know with the throwing hammer.
Isn't that the guy from The Hobbit?
Yes, exactly. But just like the way that I can throw my hammer, grab it, pull out a shotgun, shoot a guy, pull out a primary, boom, mob of enemies comes out, rocket launcher.
You can
another guy
play
comes out,
catch with
throwing
another
hammer.
Titan.
Playing catch with, if you haven't seen that tweet from, I can't remember, Claude Jerome, I think is the one who retweeted it from.
I know John Wisniewski did, because
Anubis.
he said originally they marked that as a bug, and then they were like, fuck it, it's funny.
Yes, and Anubis Gaming was the one who originally tweeted out the throwing hammers back and forth, and it's like a bug where teammates can throw it and catch it, and it looks pretty awesome. But yes, new subclasses, fantastic. I'm with you, Hove, and Wilson. I think both of you were kind of like, I was going into this reserve, but like it's blowing me away. It's so good. And can I just say that, oh no, I can't, I'll save it for the spoilers. But I love some of the voice acting. Some of the new characters are fantastic, and I'm really enjoying it a lot. And I haven't even gotten to the in-game really. Like I just am getting to the in-game right now, and it's so great. So I'm really excited to tackle the rest of it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think for me, it's been easily the most compelling narrative that we've gotten, which I think is important because it's also been the most cohesive storyline when you think about how they integrated all the in-game activities to be relevant to that story. So I think that was probably the first step they've done that. And ultimately what you get is you get this really nice package of where incentive actually meets the in-game content. And that's something obviously you've been asking for a long time. So anytime that they're able to do that, where you're looking at, oh, well, these are the things that I can do, and it's pointed, and it's been like that in Destiny 2, but they've added other layers to that. And I think that's really what stood out to me. It's not just, oh, I know if I kill this wanted guy, I'm going to get a legendary gear. But if I keep doing these things, maybe I'll get that prime attunement. Maybe something will drop that like master weave thing so I can get a masterwork core if I keep killing these guys. So there's not only, if I sign on and do this, I'm going to get this, as Hove mentioned. If you want to do Gambit, if you want to do Crucible, if you want to play PvE, there's something for you. But there's that next level of, if I do this even more, there's still something there for me. And so I think that it's not only did they deliver on something I feel like we've asked for a long time, mostly in that once the story is done, what is there for us to do? But they've done it in such a way that is, kind of caters to all of your playstyles and how much time you want to put into that. And I think that was probably the most thought out thing that they've done. And I've been pretty impressed with it as someone who's probably been able to play, 4 to 5 hours since it's released every single day.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you all about that because as someone who hasn't played that yet, you can kind of speak to me as a person who's thinking about getting Forsaken almost because I was curious about how the end game plays out as far as things that you need to do because I've been impressed even on the story side. I feel like in D2 base, there wasn't as much encouragement to go and play Crucible or other stuff to level up. It was mainly
there was no reason to do anything.
Yeah, that's true. But I was afraid of having to do public events or something I didn't want to do necessarily to level up. And what I did is I got it to a part where I needed a little bit more power level, I thought. So I went and played Rumble for a few games to see what the new weapon system felt like. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Had fun doing that. Did more of the story and then got to another part where I was like, I could use a little bit more light level. So I went and played Gambit. And that was way more fun than I expected as well. And so, yeah, just overall, I'm totally with you.
There's definitely, public events and stuff like that because of just the whole PvE side of it are definitely still important.
Yeah.
I don't think you feel cornered into doing them nearly as much.
I guess that's what I mean. I was naturally just doing them when I came across them, and it was fun, and I didn't feel. And I'm sure there will be bounties and stuff I need to do.
There's all kinds of stuff. That's the thing. It's great. Two things. One to one of Triton's points. You were kind of mentioning the cohesion between the story and the end game. That's one thing that this is kind of the shader thing to me, but. The one thing that drove me, not the one thing, a thing that drove me nuts about Destiny 2 Vanilla was the raid was good. Leviathan was really good. The story to it was cool. The whole Callus thing. But it might as well have just been a separate thing. You beat Gaul, and then it was oh hey, there's also this ship up here. We should probably go see what's going on. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't part of the story, and this time, without spoiling anything, I think they've alluded to this. I mean, it's part of the story. Finishing the campaign is a part of the story, and it's even better than the ones in D1, I think, because for instance, Taken King, beating the story was killing Oryx, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back, and you went after him again.
Yeah.
This is it's not a repeat. It's a totally different part of the story. It's more story. Do you know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
And the other point, one thing I noticed, I did do mostly bounties and public events and stuff to level up even after the campaign. No, during the campaign. One thing that Dewey and I kind of think maybe it almost seems as you're going from 380, 400 up to 500, which is the soft cap, any public events and stuff, the gear will drop, a couple light levels above what you are. But they also seem to scale to the next step in what you had to complete in the story. There was a point where...
yes. I get what you're saying.
I was say 400, and the next mission was 420. All of a sudden my drops were 412, 413 across the board, and then I got up to 410, 412, and then they were 418, a couple above. And then once I beat that 420 mission and say the next one was 430, they started dropping up at 425, 420. It's they were trying to catch you up to the next mission that the light level base.
That was my favorite mission, by the way.
Which one?
The 420 one.
Yeah. Does that make sense, though? Do you get what I'm saying?
No, totally. Absolutely.
Did anyone else notice that?
I experienced something like that, but it wasn't quite the same. Mine wasn't directly underneath it. I think I was a little bit further in the progression because I played so much Crucible.
Well, I was just picking numbers.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying every time... I always was at the level of the next activity. I felt like they spaced it out incredibly evenly to where there was nothing where I felt completely underleveled. And I almost wish I could have had that opportunity to play it on. Maybe that was, I don't know. it seemed just the right amount to me. Like
Yep.
the progression wise, I don't know if they just spaced it out perfectly or if there's some algorithm like you're saying.
What were you at going into Forsaken?
I was at
390 something.
I was at 390. Yeah.
Okay, I was below. I was at like 370 because A, I only ever got up to 380,
Right.
and B, just with the weapons I had, all my highlight power weapons, I guess, were ones that moved to special. So I actually dropped light when Forsaken came out.
Oh no.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because they moved to a different slot and the exotics couldn't count together. And then I was running it mostly with Dewey, so I was going into a lot of stuff a little bit low, not ridiculously, but like 5-10 below the thing. So when the next one came that jumped up 10 or 20 light, I was then 15 or 20 behind. But it seemed like all I had to do was a patrol or two while I was waiting for a public event, and I jumped like 8 to 10 light levels because it was giving me things that were 10, 15, even 20 above after I finished the story.
And I agree with you. My jumps are pretty high too.
I'm wondering if that was on almost like a rubber band mechanic, like to catch you up, and then they slowed back down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I went into it at 480, and I mean, it felt like I went pretty fast. I also did spend a lot, like, went to the tower right away and spent a lot of weapon parts.
And it's a new gear.
Vanguard,
That was another thing. The night before Forsaken came out, the very last thing I did was go turn in my weapon parts. The very last thing pre-Forsaken that happened to me was I finally got the NTAP.
That's crazy to me.
I mean,
the very last package.
I'm sure very soon I'll get one with a better roll and I'll delete the other one, but it was the principle of it.
And not only that, but like what's impressive about it isn't that you just had tons of gunsmith parts laying around and you just like the last night before Forsaken, I'm gonna get it. I'm just gonna run through all these parts. I know every time you played, you were spending all your parts at the tower trying to get it.
That's because
happened to be.
That's because there was a time that I had thousands and spent them all and didn't get them.
Well, I think to Ho's point, and maybe that rubber band effect, and we talked a lot about, not being a prisoner of the moment, so I don't really want to kind of like oversell or undersell that maybe that's the thinking behind it. But I have seen throughout this expansion, and it's only been a couple days, right, for everybody, but it seems like they do understand where people want to spend their time and where people don't want to spend their time necessarily, and how people want to be rewarded. So, I mean, I only did the campaign pretty much straight through. I didn't really kind of sidetrack to get any of like the mats or anything like that and do those bounties to help me, or I didn't ever just kind of farm a planet for public events real quick to level up. But it did seem to be consistently rewarding so that you never felt that you were like dropping under level, and it got you through what they wanted you to experience, I think, at a rate in which you would want to. Like, it would be terrible for some people, I think, to have to like maybe do a story mission and be so far behind that maybe you do have to do 5 things you don't want to do to get back on track. Like, I don't know if everyone wants to do that. So the fact that it allowed you to go at a good pace to get to that soft cap relatively quickly, hopefully that's their thinking, because it does look like they put that kind of thought into what it's like to go from 500 and a little farther. And so again, I think that's kind of why when we all step back and say, hey, we've been here before with the excitement, I think those are the types of things that if you're looking into, lets you know that like, hey, they thought about this a lot more than the past. So this is a reason to continuously come back. And that's what I've really enjoyed the most. It's not just the story, it's not just these things, it's really the details of how do people play this game, where do they want to spend their time, and how do they want to be incentivized, because that's really what matters coming back day to day. And Hope just happened to pick up on something that I think is another one of those moments where someone sat around and said, this is what we should do.
Dude, there's so many things like that in this expansion too. I feel like so many things of like, man, people really wanted this, people really wanted this is what drew people away. And some of those things I wanted to get to were like the collection bounties and lore systems that they put in. Like, there's so like, I don't know if you've just been playing the game and haven't really dug into your you went into your menu recently to like dig dug to like really get in there and check out what's going on. There's like, you got a collections tab, you have in your triumphs, there's a lore thing that you can go through and read like the back like history of Uldren and stuff. As you're going through the missions, you unlock that stuff and you can go back and read it, and it's honestly like pretty in depth and not just like one tab. Like, it's like a scroll through.
Oh, there's so much stuff.
There's so much stuff that I was like, oh, I'll read these as I go while I'm loading. and I was like, nope, I'm gonna have to do this later. This is
There's like
intense.
3 horizontal tabs, and under each one of those, there's anywhere from like 3 to 5 vertical tabs, and then under each one of those, there's anywhere from 1 to 5 pages of things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, there's so much, and I thought what was a really nice touch, not useful, might never look at it again, but did you notice all your Destiny 1 triumphs are in there?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like beat Crota, beat Atheon,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
That's
Like
awesome.
those emblems that we got in D1 for doing those things are in there.
What?
So,
I haven't even
yeah.
seen that. That's amazing.
And
That's
that's all
really
the
cool.
time.
I just thought that was a cool
Players.
touch. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it wasn't there, I wouldn't care at all, but, you know, it's nice.
I will say of all the things, and so this is super nitpicky, I wish there was a way to select everything quickly as someone who, you know, has OCD about the whole thing. I wish the first time maybe you could, like, not have to individually touch to get all the score. Maybe there was a way to kind of add it all up. I mean, if they want you to see everything, that's fine too. It's not an end of the world now that you've done it. But a few people I've played with over the week have been like, hey, it'd be cool if I could just, and not like this is terrible, but just hey, it'd be cool if I could select everything.
I agree, because it took a while.
Yeah, it takes a while.
I haven't even done it yet.
But on the flip side, just to look at the other side of it, one, when you finish and like going through and clicking all that and watching the score go up is kind of satisfying too. Like, look at all this stuff I did.
Is.
And 2, they did a good job though of knowing like each, like I said, each of those horizontal tabs, the main ones, it'll have a little exclamation point if you have one to claim. So if you go to that, then each of the vertical tabs will show you which one has an exclamation point that you need to claim, and then on the page. So like you can tell from all 3 levels of the directory where you have ones you need to claim. So at least they do a good job of that. You're not scrolling through 15 pages every time.
No, the
going,
interface is really good.
Yeah.
The interface is good. I think actually you were doing your score when you and Dewey were playing together, actually trying to see who had the higher initial score. So anyway,
I knew it wasn't going to be
Of
me.
course, y'all were doing that immediately, comparing score sizes.
I don't think it was immediately. We were actually closer to the end game, I think, when we were
Yeah, we were
doing
probably
that.
past where you are here, Mr.
Yeah.
All right.
Tweedlesack.
Collections is also pretty cool. Being able to get it. There's just so many quality of life stuff. But for me, like being able to go back and look at anything that I've acquired from the past, ghost shells, weapons, you know, anything, and just grab it, like that's amazing.
Yeah. Also, another really encouraging trait, or not trait, but like thing. I don't know. Not that any one person's opinion changes the game for anybody else, or shouldn't. And so each of these people, it doesn't matter to me that they like it, but as a whole, the just huge amounts of praise that Lumi and Triple and a lot of the PvP guys, as a whole, people coming back to the game, people excited about it, it's above and beyond what it's been for anything else. Even some of the things like the Go Fast update and the exotic tunings and stuff like that, a lot of those same people were like, okay, this is cool, but this is a step in the right direction, but this needs to happen. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it is such a big step towards, you know, just the fun, ridiculous PvP that everybody wants. Not everybody. I know people like to eat some, whatever, but everybody really seems to be enjoying it. Like, it's like night and day from what the last year of D2 has been.
Yeah, at minimum, a lot of big players are really liking what they see. Like a lot of big, strong voices are liking what
And like
they
I
see.
said, I don't
Which is a big
personally, no offense to any of them, because I like a lot of those guys, but I personally don't care. You know, them liking it isn't changing how I feel, but the fact that all of them as a whole are changing their minds and coming back to it is encouraging.
Yeah, totally.
I had 8 pages of friends on. I remember
we've had,
like
3 or 4 clan pages recently too,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
I remember the last few times that we had new things happen, we were like, oh my god, we have a full page and a half. Holy crap, there's so many people. Literally 8 online players, not pages of like they're in orbit or they're playing. 8 pages of people playing Destiny.
That's awesome. Yeah,
That's
really cool.
I don't remember. The worst part though was I was trying to find Dewey to join him, and he was on the 8th fucking page. There were only 2. There were 2 people below him.
Shout out to you people that always still use like a unique emblem, no matter what, on all 3 characters, so we can find you right now, because you're definitely a godsend. It's super appreciated.
Oh, I'll
I
be
think
doing
I'll add to what Hove said about like people play on the 8 pages, because what most of us have probably friends that play with those same friends and so forth. And what I like seeing is that not only do we have that many people playing, but a lot of them are playing with each other. You're seeing groups of 3, 4, 5,
cool.
Even in 6 playing quick play. So things like that. I mean, it's a game that you want to play with other people. It's designed to be a communal game in some senses. So to see that, I think, is an encouraging sign going forward for sure.
How are y'all feeling about the new weapon system? Y'all digging the slots, or we haven't really talked about it since the week that they released everything early. How are y'all feeling about Crucible and the story?
Great.
In PvE.
The only thing that's
go ahead, Hope.
I was nope, not gonna do it.
It was a little weird at first, like kind of settling in and getting used to a sniper being technically like in my primary slot, and like switching back and forth and wanting to hold triangle to pull out
that was
sniper when I didn't need to, and like, but I've settled in pretty nicely.
Well, that's not on you either. I mean, pulling out doesn't always work.
It's true. Make a good point. But it was a little like weird at first. It was very shotgun heavy at first. It was kind of hard to counter, but you just have to adapt. You just have to assume that the next person that's playing that very tight corner is playing it because they got a shotgun. You know what I mean?
You just got to run a sniper in both your primary and your heavy. That way, if you hold down triangle, you still pull out a sniper.
That's actually you're not wrong.
I think the biggest thing that threw me off, and we'd kind of mentioned this before, I don't know if it was ever on the podcast, but definitely just in talking, was how confusing it could get when talking about where a weapon fit versus what ammo it used.
Oh,
because
whenever you're trying to explain it to somebody.
They took 2 different terminology sets of terminology and put them together.
Yep.
Before in both D1 and D2, primary, special, heavy spoke for the slot and the ammo type. In D2, kinetic, energy, and power spoke for the slot and the ammo type. Now they don't.
Yeah.
So I know I've been talking to a couple people in my Discord and everything that, well before this came out, that were under the impression, and it was very confusing, that these snipers that fit into your primary slot were going to take primary ammo. Well, primary ammo doesn't exist anymore. Primary special or primary kinetic or fucking, I don't know, kinetic energy power. Yeah. They don't have anything to do with the ammo type anymore.
Kinetic energy doesn't.
Kinetic energy, kinetic energy power are the slots.
Yes.
Primary, special, heavy are the ammo. Yeah.
Yes.
So that I still can't, it's so hard to explain. When I see it, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think you did it the first time, actually. When you re-listened to this, you explained it right the first time.
Did I?
It.
All right.
Yeah, and I think you were like, wait, did I though? And then you did the inverse just to cover your bases. You're good.
Yeah.
It worked out. It was good the first time. Because then I got confused. Like, wait.
I'm with you, Wilson, on the seeing what other people are running. Like if they're staying around a corner, you're like, oh, that person probably has a shotgun, or if you can tell somebody's just rushing you, you're like, yeah, there's a shotgunner coming for me. And so it's a fusion rifle player, I'm having to play so much more like in D1 I would play, where I'm really staying away from my corners. When I come around one, I'm coming almost sniper level laying into it,
Right.
But it's really fun having such a diversity of gameplay and also getting sniped. I was playing Rumble, playing against people who were using snipers and doing really well with them, and I'm like, oh man, this guy can hit his shots. I can't play in this lane. I gotta play in this medium lane, not close because there's a shotgun or 2, and you really have to watch out. Or you're like, if I'm gonna challenge a sniper, I gotta have my bow out, that kind of stuff.
Well, 2 things on that. One, how much PvP have you played, Lego? Have you played a good bit?
I've played I've just played Rumble, and I've played going against people in Gambit, but I haven't played quick play or competitive.
One of the first things I said the first couple days I was playing was Lego is going to be disgusting, and I'm going to hate playing with him against him, because you can, with a shotgun or a fusion, which is what I was getting at, you can have power ammo or special ammo for the majority of the game. You're only going to have 1, 2, maybe 3 shots, but if you're good with it, you can go on a run.
Unless you're a sniper, because you can't
well,
get your ammo.
That's why I said shotgun and fusion. But the other thing, my go-to so far, not with the new weapons, I haven't found a PvP loadout for that, but old-fashioned, Aletha, and Darcy. Do you know how good it feels to run a fusion and a sniper? It's amazing.
I do actually like that. I was running Whisper and and the Air Intel. So.
Have you messed with Darcy at all?
I do like Darcy a lot.
Darcy's good.
I was actually gonna use it whenever I swap to quick play. I just haven't done it yet. But in Gambit, it's really fun to run Whisper because it's good for invading too. It's not like the best, but it works for both.
I feel. I mean, sniping has just felt. I know that people still say it's not as good, but like being able to snipe consistently feels so much better now. Like, I finally felt just the last couple days like I was almost back as a sniper. Like today, Wilson, when we were playing, like I finally was hitting snipes. Like I'd get power and I'd snipe 3 or 4 dudes with, my power ammo, and it felt so good.
Yeah, it does. It feels really good, and like if you can coordinate with your team and pick up those special bricks and like coordinate that like you really need one, and if your teammates are nice, they'll not pick them up, you can really make that ammo stretch. And I think what they were trying to accomplish with that is, sure, you can get more ammo, you can go on these long tears, but you got to earn it, and you're not just gonna run around, pick up these old special ammo crates and have 20 shots for your sniper. You know what I mean? Like it encourages map movement, strategic, communicating with your team, like, hey, I need special, like, and it's a lot of fun. There's just so many variables in the Crucible now, which is what made Crucible fun to begin with, in my opinion. There's all the variables, all those what the hell moments, like, or making a sick play, like Hope getting a sick snipe on a guy, or a nice bow shot or something, or some guy comes jumping over the wall and has no idea that there's 2 of you there, so you just wreck them with gunshots and melees. Like it's a lot of fun to play, man. And I can say that I've played more PvP than PvE since Forsaken has dropped, and I'm probably going to continue to do so. I'm really going to take my time with PvE. Really don't care about getting raid ready next week, to be honest. Like if I'm raid ready, I'm raid ready. If I'm not, whatever. But right now I'm working on that Redrix's broadsword and the Luna's Howl. Is that what that's called?
Yeah. Which
I want that thing.
I got. Well, real quick, I wanna point something out, and then I want to talk about the Luna's Howl, because there's more to it than the Luna's Howl. I found out.
What?
You'll see. But one thing, we were mentioning like people that like maybe just sit around the corner with a shotgun all the time, or whatever it may be. In the hope and expectation that as Forsaken kind of brings Destiny back to the forefront a little bit, maybe we have some people that are new to this game that listen to this podcast. And one thing I want to point out, it's hard to do because some things can make you really angry. But if you come across something that is annoying you in Crucible, whether it's shotgun, this guy's just crouching with a shotgun every time, or this guy's hard scoping this corner every time, it's annoying and they're stupid. But if you know they're doing it, don't get mad. Use that to punish them. He's going to be sitting around a corner, go over him in the air. If you know they're hard scoping, go a different way or slide. Just use that to your advantage. You know what I mean? If they're going to keep doing something, maybe it's annoying that they keep doing it, but if you know they're doing it, change what you're doing and use that against them. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
And the other thing, I saw a tweet earlier. Remember, we thought the Luna's Howl was like the Redrix, right?
Yeah.
So, you guys familiar with 1 second kill?
Yeah, because he made it to the top rank, right?
So, he tweeted earlier that he got the world's first not forgotten hand cannon. To which he then tagged Bungie and said, got the golden quest line after getting Luna's Howl. Once you achieve around 550 Luna's Howl kills in comp, you have to hit legend rank in comp. This weapon is insane. Thank you, Bungie, once again. So it sounds like there's something on top of the Luna's Howl. Once you do that quest and get that, you then get a quest line that you have to use Luna's Howl to get the Not Forgotten. Which looks like it also has the Magnificent Howl perk, which is, you know, the perk that Luna's Howl has, but it seems to not be the top reward.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
That's all I know is I'm basing it off that one tweet. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
But I happened to see that, and I thought that was very interesting. I hope that's not a spoiler? Is that a spoiler?
No.
No,
That's
if
just
it's
loot.
put out there publicly.
Yeah. Dude, that's exciting that there's so much to go for and that they've...
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is another thing that was asked for last season. Just one more thing that they're listening to people and trying to... there was no reason to keep playing... or there wasn't that great of a reason to keep playing once you got Redrix. Like, if you got Redrix, then you get an ornament for getting to the top, and now you get, like, another gun, or at least there's a quest line to get another gun, or more reasons to play comp. So I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting.
As long as I get Luna's Howl, I'll be happy. But
well, I really want to talk about Gambit for a little bit because it's the big new game mode. Everybody has been hyping it up, and I want to know from you guys if it lived up to its expectations. I'm getting nods for yes. And I just want to say for me personally, like, I have been kind of blown away by it. Like, I thought that I was going to be like, it's going to be fun, but I'm more of just the regular PvP guy, not so much PvE, PvP. Like, that doesn't appeal to me as much. But I started, oh man, I was playing it to get the taken kills. There's a quest at the end to get to the end game. You need to get a bunch of taken kills. And it said, you can do that in Gambit. And so I started playing games just for that. And I wanted to keep going even after I finished it, because there were so many, even just playing by myself, going in solo, there were so many clutch moments of, like, when you have a game where you have those clutch moments where you invade the enemy team and get like 3 headshots with a sniper rifle and then like finish off the 4th guy a different way, like, and it sets their primeval back and then you win. That is just the best feeling. Like, it feels like, Destiny's been wanting, and a lot of the devs have talked about wanting to get those hero moments back in the Crucible, and this is like the game mode for hero moment.
it's not an all the time thing, obviously. Only when you're invading or they're invading you. But the anticipation of when an invasion starts on either side, and the culmination, whether they wipe you, you wipe them, whatever it may be, that's the closest I've felt to like early D1 trials.
Yeah.
What I loved about early D1 trials was like the 1v3 moments, the clutch moments. Even if your whole team's alive and an invader comes in, at least for me, you still have that feeling of like, where is he? I gotta find, like, what's going on. Even though there's 3 other people looking for him too, like, you're like trying to find him. You're trying to figure out where he's at. You want to get that headshot. He comes running in and he thinks he's gonna make a play, and you wipe him. You just shoot him in the face. Like,
yes,
it's unbelievable. I had a game, in Gambit. Guy came over, invaded. I sniped him, like killed him as he was coming in. I invaded them. He sniped me. He invaded us. We traded headshots.
Oh my
like
gosh.
all within, it was like 3 invades in a row, so they were like within 2 minutes of each other, and it was the same guy every time. So it was this epic, like, he came over, I stopped him. I came over, he stopped me, and then unbelievably, like, the next one, we traded, like, all sniper headshots. It was so awesome.
Wilson, didn't you have a really good Gambit invading game?
Yeah, I had a match where, like, so if you kill, like, all 4 guys individually, it teleports you back to the other side, like, back to your side.
Oh, that's what happened to me on my... Okay, I was trying to figure it out, because as soon as I got the 4th kill, it teleported me, and I was like, wait, what? Okay, that makes sense.
I had some guys. I invaded, got 3 kills right away, and the fourth guy hid from me, and I was able to sit there and look down. And this was during the
trial.
test
Yeah.
day, the trial, and they the other guys had respawned and started running up that valley or whatever, and I was able to clip them with a super and some more snipes afterwards because that other dude hid. And it was super cool, man. Like Gambit, like I really love the strategy of laying down a blocker and then invading. Like it's because and you could see the number next to the people indicating how many motes that they're carrying.
Yeah.
And that's super important, dude, because it lets you know who you need to go for. And like, man, it's big. Like I'm loving the strategy of it, and I'm just starting to scratch like the surface and
Yeah.
really digging it.
Triton, you were saying you were playing a lot of Gambit too. You were like, did you say you were playing and you like had to look at the time because? Oh wait, it's getting late.
Yeah, I ended up playing until like probably 3:30.
Did you fold the towels when you were done?
Oh no, didn't have to fold any towels there. But I did end up playing till 3:30. I held off for the longest time. I didn't get to play the trial. I had a lot of stuff going on with the family that weekend, so I didn't get to play the trial, which I was a little bit bummed about. And then I think when you hover over it, it does say like light level enabled. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever really been able to come back and say like that's for sure, because some people have told me they've used their 380 guns in there and not noticed a difference.
That's what I was using. Yeah.
I wanted to wait till I was at least 500 to jump in there. So I did. And honestly, my first couple experiences were solo. I didn't know how to play the game mode, and it just went badly. I was like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I don't know the maps. I don't understand the flow. And everyone was a rando.
He was
and
one
so
of those guys depositing 3 motes at a time.
Yeah, I didn't understand the blocker system. I mean, like every time I go over, like, it'd be like 5 taking guys. I'm like, what the hell? So we didn't do well. And then I started going in there with people, and I think I went in there with Lick and some friends like Matt Grundy and his girlfriend Bai, I went in there with, and then also some of our other clan mates. And then you kind of see some of the strategies, and it was really neat, and I really did enjoy it. And I think it's kind of that nice blend of, you know, there's like such an impetus to do something for a PvE mode as opposed to like a raid, which is, you know, a lot of coordination, a lot of strategy, but you don't have to trigger the boss yet, right? So you stand here and you do this. You know, when you're doing all that, it's so live. Like, hey, let me get that mode. I'm almost there to, like, you know, a large blocker, or hey, I'll invade next. But you have to move quickly. So I think that kind of creates like a level of excitement that I'm sure that we're all feeling when we're playing that. And I've really enjoyed it. And I don't know how often I would, you know, I don't know if I'm the kind of person who would play it like TV is right now, but I could definitely see myself doing it a couple times a week, especially for bounties.
Yeah. I saw somebody just reset. Somebody put on Twitter, like, I think I'm the first Gambit Infamy reset. They already reset it today, which is crazy. But I agree with you, Triton, that I'm glad that there's incentive to go do that, because there is bounties and gear specifically for Gambit, and there's different quest lines that require you to do it, or killing Taken in there to help you with main stuff. So there's lots of reasons to go in there and do it. But I would encourage, if you are thinking about playing it or haven't played it yet or aren't sure about the rules, like, please go look up 5 motes, 10 motes, 15 motes. Don't deposit any less than those numbers. You know, don't get killed while you're holding a ton of motes. Try not to die. Death Hills Primeval, all that jazz. There is a part of it that I don't understand yet that I don't think has been explained very well. They've made it very clear that Death Hills Primeval, but what gives you the times Primeval?
Just time.
Just time?
The longer the Primeval's out.
Both sides, or is it just the side that has a Primeval out the longest? That's what I want to know.
That I wasn't sure, but my thought... Well, first of all, you're talking about on the left, it says... I forget what it is, but
like
basically... It goes from ×1, ×2, and it goes up to ×10, I believe. That is, that's damage to the Primeval, and that is, it goes up as time wears on. So that's how you get those moments where somebody makes this huge comeback.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm thinking that it's got to be from the time the first Primeval comes out. Because otherwise, say you and I are playing against each other. I get my Primeval out. I'm up to ×5 by the time you get yours out. That mechanic isn't going to help you catch up, because you're going to be back at 1. I'm going to be doing more damage, and I'm already ahead. So I'm thinking that they have to stay the same. because
almost
otherwise
like-
it would give a bigger advantage to the team that already has an advantage, and it doesn't
Yeah,
work like that.
They did like a built-in like hero moment system where if the other team's behind, like the portal opens up like all the time for them to invade, it feels like. And so it gives them a chance to get in, and then that times primeval thing is going up too. So if the first team is taking too long or doesn't defend themselves well, then the other team heals that team's primeval, the first team that got it up, then their times primeval is up and they can melt it super fast. So it like lets you get those hero moments in really well.
And you can get one of those like comeback, like I think it's like never give up medals or something like that. Actually, that was one of the games I was playing earlier on today. So that might be how it works, because it looked like we were gonna get just stomped by this team. First game they just demolished us. Second game, I think I went down to an invasion when I had 15 motes. I think that one of my teammates went
It's
down
not
with like
surprising.
we were both planning on trying to send over the blockers at the time. So we're just like, this is terrible. They had the primeval out. I think we had 32. I'm like, no way. And we ended up winning that one somehow. So
Wow.
those are, I guess, because I did notice like we had like a ×9 type of
Mhm.
buff,
Yeah.
and Whisper was just demolishing the primeval at that point. So we ended up winning by like I think a third of a health bar.
I've now found
Ooh.
one of my favorite. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for melting bosses, there's a PvE thing I've been doing with the new Hammer Titan that is amazing. That one of the last perks that you open up for it is like it's like a ×3 burn that you can get, like ×3 damage on all your solar stuff. And so a super easy way to get a ton of damage rolling at once is throwing your grenade and getting like 3 kills, and then it times is like all your solar damage to where you can almost like one-shot yellow bars, like big yellow bars with your throwing hammer that you get back every time you throw it. So once you get to the ×3, just use that to take out the big mobs, and then activate your like super, and then your super is like doing 3 times the damage as well, and it just gets crazy. Like there's so much damage potential in the Titan tree. I just wanted to throw that out there, that I'm having a ton of fun with that.
Titans are dumb. I have a new favorite meme, I think, too. Did anyone see Bones' tweet? I think it was Bones.
No.
So, you've all seen Infinity War, right?
Oh yes.
Do you know the one part where Doctor Strange opens a portal for Star-Lord and he just falls backwards through it while flipping off Thanos?
Yeah.
So it's that picture, and Bones tweeted like, how I feel when my teammates call out that they're gonna invade, but I'm right next to the portal.
Nice.
I just saw that. That's amazing.
I thought it was
Yeah,
funny.
Gambit. It's awesome.
Can I tell you that I might be a Storm main now? Is that time?
No. What?
Dude, the new Stormcaller tree is the best thing I've ever done in my life.
I saw some people using it in a public event I was in, and they were just wrecking stuff.
Amazing.
Hope had a clutch moment in competitive today with it.
Really?
I had two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I killed like.
How does it
pretty
fare in
dope.
PvP? Like
It melts people.
Like
Granted,
what-
the camera angle of it makes it a little weird because it has a small it's a beam. You have to hit them with the
Okay.
beam,
yeah.
but it does a lot of damage.
If you hit them with that beam, like they're pretty much toast. Like Hove
Wow.
clutched like a 1v4 with they all were just in the same area.
I'm not gonna
One
lie.
Super.
Here's the best part about that.
amazing.
I didn't even know that I was doing that. There was a Titan smash running at me. He had just killed the rest of the team. I just floofed as high as I could in the air and popped my super on him. And as I was turning, that's one of the things, because you're like throwing this beam and there's all this light, it's kind of hard to see exactly where you're hitting.
Uh-huh.
So I like killed this Titan, and then I just started like turning and looking all over the place, and I happened to hit all 3 other guys.
It was awesome.
He
just melted them.
How does
instantly.
the stopping it perk work, where you can like hold it and it gives you your super? It leaves your super for later. Isn't
I
that
thought
the
that was
super?
kind of buggy right now.
I don't even. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I forgot
I was
about
playing
that.
with
I don't think
somebody
it's
that said
mentioned.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But and in PvE, here's the biggest downfall of it. You absolutely have to pop it at the right time, because once you do it, you are relegated to like walking speed or slower. Like you can't like move around the map. If you pop it
You
and
can't
they
chase someone.
No.
You have to have them cornered. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the range on it's incredible, but if they go somewhere like around a corner 20 feet in front of you, you're not going to get to them because it only lasts for like
A couple seconds.
I don't know 3 seconds,
Wow.
five, and I'm talking real like 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, maybe
Yeah, 3 seems pretty
probably
accurate.
about 3. But like in PvE even, it does enough damage that you can just if there's a mob, you can just pan and just destroy everything. And it gives a lot of orbs. Even if you kill like 3 or 4 red bars, you're gonna make 4 orbs probably.
Wow.
I was
Yeah.
I was regularly making 7.
Yeah.
Speaking of killing like a ton of enemies at once, did y'all see that clip one of the devs put up of the hunter throwing knife just taking out like a swarm of thrall? Like it was a ridiculous. It wasn't Chris Barrett, it was somebody else. I can't remember which dev it was, but they put it up. I think Bungie actually retweeted it, even like main Bungie account. But what I want to know what subclasses, what subtrees y'all have been using, Triton, Wilson, or Hove, if you've upgraded any others.
Oh, I'm never gonna play another subclass ever.
Okay, well then not you, Triton, Wilson.
Go ahead,
I've been
Wilson.
using I've been using the spectral blades
Ooh, yeah.
on the hunter, and my god, are those fast and aggressive. Really been enjoying it. Does great DPS in PvE, and I'm still like trying to remember how to blade dance in PvP. So there's moments of mass success, and then there's moments of mass fail as well. So I'm loving it. I'm having a hard time playing anything else right now. So
I feel completely helpless going against it. Like when that thing comes through the portal and they activate their spectral blades and I'm the target, like I just freak out and die every time. I feel like I can't run
It's
away from
crazy.
that thing.
It's crazy hard to get away from, and yeah, it's a lot of fun to use. The hit detection seems really, really good on it, and
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
That was probably my Gambit highlight, was when someone invaded, popped the spectral blade, killed the other 3 people, came after me, and I put them down with the Aquila shotgun,
Ooh,
and like
nice.
kind of saved us right there. So that was probably my only real encounter with the spectral blade in that way. I went the gunslinger route. I just used like the wave of I think like 1,000 cuts or whatever it's called. So then throwing knives. I've really enjoyed the throwing knife itself. Like the melee attack comes back extremely quickly once like the full tree's up, so it comes back way faster. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but I consistently get it back pretty quickly. And then you're right, like the throwing knife just seemed like they just do a ton of damage, kill a ton of things, and you always get the host point. You always get like a max number of orbs. Like I kill like 3 thrall and you're getting 3 or 4 orbs. It's just I don't know if they're designed that way or if that's maybe I don't want to say a bug, but just something going on right now. But in doing the nightfall today, that was a huge key because you're like already 30. I was like 30 light level under. So sometimes we did the garden world, like in those stages between when you're damaging the boss, when like all those goblins come out the portal, I would just wait and use the super then and take down like 8 or 9 at a time. And that was like the key to add control for us. So they're pretty powerful and I've enjoyed it so far.
How does normal throwing knife work? Have you guys tried that out in PvP yet at all? I was curious what the damage was like on it.
It damages over time, and then it also sprays out a little bit. So it also sprays out a little bit. So instead of having like the one overhand, it's more of like a throwing, like
Well,
a
you're
disc.
talking
they
in the
can
new
spin
tree,
out.
right?
Yes.
Lego, you were just asking about like base
I was
throwing
asking
knife,
just
right?
about normal. I'm curious
Yeah.
about both. I'm curious
Okay.
about both.
Well, I haven't used the other one lately.
Yeah,
but,
I figured no one was really touching that
the
one
fan,
right now.
the new one has been pretty solid, and like it damages over time. So in some ways, you can kind of see where the person goes or whatever, and it doesn't come back as quickly in PvP as it does in PvE. I think it's because it's probably kill related again. But the fact that it kind of spans out and you can hit multiple people. So if you throw it and there's maybe 2 people next to each other, you can get both, as opposed to the old throwing knife where you definitely only get the one, unless maybe that explosive damage would do some damage to somebody else. But it does help if they're grouped up, or maybe on like a control point, you might be able to hit 2 or 3.
Nice. There was something else.
The other thing I just want to, besides the super, the melee on the new Storm is
Ooh.
ridiculous.
I saw a clip of it being super long.
But here's the thing. It's really not even a melee. It's more like the throwing knife.
Okay.
You can do it. You could just be walking around and just melee, and it takes your charge because it's like a throwing knife. You're actually throwing like a bolt of lightning, and then
This
it'll.
is the one that we thought, like, could you, like, does it have a, like a range and then it drops down or something
Yes.
like that?
So like if you were just standing there and you just threw it, like with no one around, it would go to its max distance and then blow up right there.
Okay.
Now if it hits somebody, then it hits somebody. But you can.
How does it work if, like, you throw it above someone and someone is not at the max range, they're just in the middle? Will it go down after that person, or?
I haven't tried that, but I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
I think it's like a projectile.
Okay.
I think when they were saying it goes down, I think it's more just because it's like a quote unquote like lightning strike. It's not actually like coming down. It's just like that's the animation, like it like strikes lightning. Do you know what I mean?
I see. Okay.
I think.
Because in my head, I was thinking, like, it would be great to be able to take out people who hide behind a box or trying to heal, and you just melee and it goes down.
Well, you know what? It still, though, because of the way it works, since it has a max range or it can hit a wall, like, you can still kind of, like, with the explosive throwing knife, you could, like, put it on the wall next to them, and it'll blow up. Or, like, if your range and your eye is good, you could shoot it right above them, and it would blow up right there. Now, it doesn't have, like, a huge... area of effect, but
yeah.
If you're in like PvE wise, if there's like 2 thrall and you put it right there and you hit them, it'll kill both of them.
Nice.
So it's
That's
the,
really cool.
It's the best class in the game. Don't at me.
I don't know, man. I'm having a ton of fun with the Hammer Titan. Like I said, throwing the hammer. There's sometimes that it like I feel
Listen,
like it's
even
clip-worthy.
Pope Bear
No.
gave up on Titans because Titans are dumb.
He gave up on Titans because he lost a bet.
Because he's a smart. He did it on purpose. Pope would never lose a bet that he didn't know he was going to lose.
I don't know. He still hasn't got a butt tattoo yet, so we'll see. I feel like calling out DCP people on a different podcast. DPP. There was something else about the hammer stuff. Like sometimes it feels like PvE is like clip worthy now sometimes, like, which is a great feeling to have, that there's so much variety in your gameplay, because I was playing just one of the Baron missions and I like had a part where I threw the hammer, and sometimes you can get it if you hit it just right where it bounces straight back at you rather than hitting the floor next to them. So you can like throw it bounces back to you, you grab it, got a shotgun, boom, throw another one, it bounces back to you, and you use your hand cannon or something like that, like some combination of stuff where you're like, this is amazing. Like I feel like Thor in Ragnarok or something like that, or just a different, like I feel like I'm a superhero in a movie playing PvE, which is what you want to feel like in Destiny.
I am a
And so
superhero.
it's great to feel that again. What's your superpower? Never mind. I don't want to ask that.
Do you want me to answer that?
No, I don't.
Real quick, the other 2 things, the other 2 perks on that. Pulse Wave is back, which is when you're critically injured, critically wounded, whatever they call it. You like reload, you like gain speed and reload and handling and all that stuff. So you like reload really fast. And the other one is neat. It's called Ionic Traces. With every kill you get, there's a chance that this Ionic Trace will drop. It just kind of looks like a little thing of light on the ground, and it'll move around. And sometimes they come to you, sometimes they go away from you. If you pick them up, you get a little chunk of ability cooldown.
Huh. That is weird.
You're weird. You throw your hammer at the wall.
And I get my health back. I didn't mention that, but hammer, if you catch it and you killed somebody, you get your health back, which is also very helpful for PvE. I don't see myself using this other than in Gambit for PvP stuff, because it's really good in PvE, but I can't see, like I tried using it in Rumble and I was chasing after someone using my spinning hammer thing and I just couldn't catch up to them, or it wouldn't register when I got close to them. And then also when I threw the hammer, like it's really hard to hit people with it unless they're stationary. And I finally hit a moving target and it didn't do enough damage to like mean anything. And so I was like, well, maybe this just isn't a PvP class.
So what you're saying is Titans aren't really that cool.
Just not that tree. That's all. But Wilson, we didn't talk about your neutral game for the Spectral Blades. I was curious, is there any perks on that tree that have been fun for you to use in PvE or PvP?
So Wombo Combo is back. It's amazing.
Right.
The smoke is really good. That's probably one of my favorite parts about the neutral game. I'm really hoping to get that hunter exotic that gives me 2 dodge maneuvers or whatever.
Right.
I really want to get my hands on that. I think that would help a lot. But the thing that I'm probably enjoying the most for sometimes in PvE, but mostly PvP, is if I get a kill while I'm crouched, I go invisible and I can see people behind walls for a while.
That's sick.
Now it has its range, so the closer they are to you, the more vibrant red they're going to show up on the other side of the wall. There is a bit of a range to it. And once they're so far away, they're kind of muddy and hard to see. So it to be honest, like just a bow and a hand cannon and some wombo combo action and like all that stuff ties so well into my playstyle in helping me with just being more successful in the Crucible as of lately. Like before, I never really liked the whole holding hands and shooting with scout rifles on the other side of the map. Like, yeah, if you want to win, that's what we do or whatever. But it's really cool to see people venturing out and doing their own thing now. And you're seeing more people like not quote unquote holding hands and not experimenting and trying new things and not using just a scout rifle sitting in the back. Don't get me wrong, every now and then you'll run across that guy that gets pissed off and busts out the graviton, but
Will you hold my hand?
like,
Hey, how is graviton now?
absolutely.
It's still good.
Graviton seems just as good as it was before.
Really?
Like, I mean, I still see it. I still get killed by it every now and then, and but yeah, it's out there.
Is that a yes?
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
confirmed, yes.
Cool.
I said yeah. Well, I guess before we get into the story spoilers, the only thing left I got is we did have a TWAB this week, and there wasn't much in it, but I did want to point. I mean, they talked about some issues in the game and stuff like that, but the main thing that I wanted to point out is the Last Wish raid that is happening this next Friday. Is they pointed out a little something about the end in the middle of the TWAB about the raid, and that is that when it becomes available, the first fire team of 6 to complete the raid will have an opportunity to acquire real-world trophies for each teammate commemorating their accomplishments, and they'll have details.
Did you see
next
what they
week.
are?
Yeah, championship.
They're
Oh,
like
no, what
they're
are
like
they?
title belts.
Yeah, from like wrestling.
Well, I saw they put up that
that's awesome.
image, but is that all that it is? Like, they didn't say what.
What do you mean is that all that it is?
All that
It's a
it is,
fucking
Lego.
title
It's a big-
belt.
Yeah, it's amazing.
No, I know, but like, how does that apply to your character? Is what I'm wondering.
It doesn't. It's a real world
Well-
thing. How does it apply to you? It holds your pants up.
You wear it around your house.
Yeah.
And they're giving it to all the people who have ever done World's First, like retroactively. which
Are
is
they?
awesome.
I didn't.
Retroactively?
Oh, that's awesome.
Really?
They said, I think
Wow.
in the TWAB it specifically says, or either that or Deej tweeted it out and said that we'll also be sending these to people who have achieved World's First for any other
Wow.
raid previously. So that's awesome too.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, okay, this makes sense now because it says like the name of the raid. Well, I don't know, because the image for it looks specific. The 2008, where the 2018 is on the belt, like looks specific to Dreaming City type stuff. But maybe that's
They'll probably change what it looks like for the other
Yeah.
ones, I would guess. Like, how much wrestling did you watch when you were a kid? Because like I feel like there's like a disconnect between like what.
no.
this
I
is.
know.
There's
I
belts
know
in
what it
boxing
is.
too, right?
Oh,
No,
yeah, also
I
boxing.
misread
UFC.
I misread the text and thought there was going to be something in the game as well, and I thought they were going to talk about that later. But no, it's not.
There might be an in-game thing, but it's not as
Which-
cool as the belt.
Well, let's be real though. The IRL thing is way more impressive that they're doing that.
Yes, that's awesome. I think it's super awesome.
Another thing that I think is really cool that they're doing. Did you see the Bungie rewards?
Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Now,
because the first.
Yeah, I was
Go
just saying.
ahead.
I assume they're going to keep going with this and do more down the
Uh-huh.
line. It sounded like. But for the first one, anybody that finishes the Forsaken campaign in the month of September gets a free copy of the Forsaken soundtrack, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
Ooh.
Now I know that won't appeal to everyone, but I'm someone who's gotten all the soundtracks. Even I don't listen to them all the time, but I've listened to them. But it's still cool. You know, I would assume they're going to do more and it'll be different types of things. I think that's really cool. Do these things in game, and we'll give you something. That's another reason to do things.
Yep.
And actually, I lied. That wasn't the only thing of interest to me in the 12. They also announced, and I've seen a couple of people talk about this, that they wanted to send a thank you to their community artists, not just the movie of the week people, but the people who have created a bunch of art that has won, you know, that either they've retweeted or like talked about, like retweeted on social media and stuff like that. Like I remember a while ago, either Cosmo or
They said they were
Dylan,
working on it.
yeah, they said they were like, hey, what would you think about this? Would you be interested in it? And like the community was like, yes, reward the artists, you know, for like creating these amazing things. And they just announced that any artists who are featured in the Bungie blog or through the @Bungie on social media will be granted an artist in residence emblem. And the emblem looks awesome. It's like this royal red and gold emblem.
I was playing with Mark Square earlier on. He was wearing it, so super cool.
Oh, that's so good.
That's awesome.
I think did Kimmy get one too? 'Cause I know she tweeted one. Maybe she tweeted the mention of it. I'm not sure if she did or she didn't, but I remember first seeing it from a tweet she sent out, whether she received it or just knew of it and passed it along. But Mark was wearing it today, and it was pretty cool.
That's so cool. Yeah, and so it seems like that's retroactive as well, which is really cool to see all the artists get recognized for that. And also, Husky Raid also tweeted out about it, which was really funny. They were like, "Can I get the emblem too?" And it was like just a little stick painting of Guardians, which was great.
Well, I was gonna say if they want to retroactively reward the older movie of the week people, so Hove and I can also have the emblem that you wear on all your characters. Like, that would be.
And Wilson.
And Wilson. I was thinking about wait, Wilson and Marcus did.
Why you gotta be such a hater? Just because you can't see Wilson.
I just hate you, Hove.
Oh.
It is cool to see it retroactive for all those people. I'm sorry about the movie of the week one, guy.
I like how Lego's like, it's cool about the artist thing, but you guys definitely know. No, not you guys.
You guys get sauced.
Now, can I make a motion to change the way we were gonna do this?
What is about the story spoiler stuff?
Yeah. Because
what's your motion?
We have
oh, you're right.
We have community questions to do still. And we're already getting pretty long, and you were going to bow out of them since you haven't finished it. So I would rather, if you guys are okay with it, get into community questions, knock those out, and then we'll get into full story stuff next week when we have everybody here and everyone's played it, and we can have one big discussion on it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
That's a pretty good idea.
Good, man.
I am so smart.
No.
God.
Let's not do that.
I don't know how you guys get by without. No wonder you canceled it when I fell asleep yesterday.
No, we were fully ready to do without you 100% if we just could stream on somebody else.
If Lego wasn't jet lagged. Yeah, let's do some community questions. I know we had a bunch.
Yeah, because I'm trying to be a good podcast host and like do those again.
Dude, what a good podcast host. I mean,
like 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh man.
Anyway, Rezo Monk wants to know which type of bear is best. I say Papa Bear.
Oh man.
I didn't know we were talking about people.
Doesn't matter. We can talk about whatever we want, Triton. This is our podcast.
Yeah.
You're the Alpha Asian. You do what you want, son.
Well, I'm gonna go with Bernstein Bears then, just because I read that story to my youngest the other day. Bernstein Bears, best bears.
The Coca-Cola polar bears.
Ooh,
cool.
ooh, good
Adorable.
one, good one.
I'm gonna say a Nava bear. Nava for you.
You're a kiss ass. We're gonna move on. It's quite toasty. A lot of celebrations to be had. So with that in mind, here's my question: 2 trains are speeding to Minnesota from New York at a rate of 100 miles an hour. How many apples can Wendy eat before a quarter drop from the top of the Empire State Building can attain a new state of matter? Thanks. I think this is a trick question. He mentions Wendy and a quarter. I feel like this is like a Wendy's question. Someone's eating a quarter pounder on the way to the Empire State Building. So I'm going to go with 3 Dave's single hot and juicy quarter pound cheeseburgers.
Okay, so I have another twist to the question, because I think that probably. It's not windy. Like this is like a shortcut for Windler. And it's probably about 3. The answer's 3.
That's the way I took it.
Yeah.
I was gonna change my bear answer to a Wilson bear, but now I don't.
Wilson Bear? What?
Is that a thing?
Hmm. Wait, is that everyone's answer? Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, Guillermo. Hi guys. First of all, congrats on the 100th episode. You guys rock. Thanks, Guillermo.
Thanks, Guillermo.
You
Yeah, dude.
are a handsome man. My question
Yeah,
for all of
yeah.
you: what's the most memorable moment from Forsaken so far?
Oh.
That's tough.
I'm gonna have to say when I got the Ace of Spades. That's been the definitive bet because that gun has not left my primary slot.
I think for me,
Your
oh,
kinetic
gosh, it's
slot?
Kinetic, sorry.
tough.
That whole thing.
It's tough for me because I really like the moment that I used the bow for the first time after getting it. Like that was like, whoa, what is this? It feels so good. But I think it's gonna be, oh man, there's so much story stuff, but we're not gonna talk about that. Aside from story, my favorite moment was when I loaded into my first Rumble match with a bow and a fusion rifle and kept having 2 bullets every time I respawned and kept getting other people's bullets when I killed them, and it was just so satisfying to like have that mix of D1 and D2 together in the Crucible, things happening, and yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Alpha?
I mean, story-wise, narrative-wise, it's certainly. I enjoyed the amount of cutscenes that we got. I think going into it, I kind of think, oh, they're worried so much about the the content in terms of giving you a reason to play that maybe the story is going to be good, but they weren't going to have as many cutscenes as they did. So I was pretty pleasantly surprised to see how many they did there.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like actual games, though, I would say probably getting that Nightfall done actually mattered. It's funny that it's Guillermo's story because I think before the podcast I shared with you guys that he left to go get food real quick and he was up in the hide spot for the Garden World and died. Unfortunately died, so we had to wipe. But we did get it done today, and it was just kind of bringing back that like challenge that there was to the game, and those types of things kind of like really resonated with me. So getting the Nightfall done earlier on today was probably my favorite moment of the 3 days gameplay wise.
So I have an easy, definite easy answer. It's story based, but I'm not going to call it a spoiler because A, it's super early, and B, if you haven't done it, you're not going to have any idea what the hell I'm saying. But when Cade rides the ceiling,
Oh yeah.
And Petra.
Dan Drumstone tweeted today, and I was going to talk about this on the podcast. Somebody more talented than me, which is anybody. Do you know the Tom DeLonge Blink 182 gif where he's saying "What the fuck" from the first date video?
Yep.
Someone needs to make one of Petra.
Because that's what she's mouthing.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
man.
pretty.
That was great. That was amazing.
Yeah, if there was ever a moment to say LOL, like
Yeah.
definitely was laughing.
Lol.
Lol.
Matt Grundy says, "Congrats on 100. Y'all are awesome. Can't wait for the next 100." Thanks, Matt. You're awesome. If you could share a beer with any person from history, who would it be and why?
Any person from history. No.
Any person from history.
Come on.
I'm going to sit down and have a beer with Albert Einstein. Not gonna pretend that I would understand half the shit that he says, but I bet you could have some pretty deep bar conversations with that dude. So I'm gonna say Albert Einstein or Nikola Tesla. One of those two. Probably Tesla. I could probably hold a way better, crazier conversation with him.
Is this like an in-person conversation? Like you're sitting down with the person you think?
You're having a beer.
You're
with him,
sitting
Will.
down having a beer with him.
Yeah. I would say Jesus. Just sit down, have a beer.
Wouldn't he have wine though?
I would assume he drinks both. I don't know. Maybe. I would sit down with water at first, and he would turn it to wine, then or beer, whatever. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
It'd be
whatever you
great.
wanted. Oh.
We sit down and talk with Jesus every day, every Thursday. His name is Lego.
No, not Jesus.
That's what you think. Triton?
Jesus had a fusion rifle.
I mean, assuming that there's not like some kind of like language barrier into meeting anyone or sitting down and having beer, I don't know. I'd probably go with Homer would be someone I definitely would want. I mean, I think thinking about like so many thousands of years ago.
Homer Simpson?
No, like Homer who wrote the Iliad or
Yeah,
the Odyssey. Like
I know.
to have those types of narratives written that long ago, I think that influences writing today. I think would be interesting. Or like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I think that like the kind of the writing and the ability to the science behind deductions are really cool narrative and things like that. So those would probably be my 2 picks, I guess.
I'm gonna stick on the same type of real deep type of conversations that Triton was gonna have with his people. I'd like to sit down and have a beer with the Catch Me Outside girl.
How about that?
No, I don't know. That was the most ridiculous person I could think of off the top of my head.
Awesome.
Yeah, they didn't
Best
say the
answer.
person had to be dead, so
Right.
there you go.
The first one that comes to mind, I'm sure if I really thought about this, there'd be someone that would just really like jump out. You know what I mean? But I think Jimi Hendrix would be a really like to talk about him like near the end of his life, like all the things he'd seen and done, and to pick his brain and everything. I think that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
The Mohican 9. Any good reason to not have a bow equipped at all times? Wilson, you're not allowed to answer.
Fair enough.
There's really not a good reason.
Yeah.
I've had one equipped ever since we got it off of Petra.
I mean, the expense of infusion, it's so expensive.
You know what else is expensive?
No. Masterworking things in general?
Yeah, that's
not where I was going, but Wilson, I know your answer is no. There's no reason to not have a bow on.
There's
That's
no
all.
reason. I'm with
No,
Wilson.
absolutely not. If you're not using a bow, you're not doing it right.
Agreed 100%.
Bot Buster 7 congratulates us on episode 100. Amazing to see how far this podcast has come since it started. I will now say though that Bot, please ask your question again next week. He wants to know what our favorite Baron fight and some other stuff, and
okay.
I don't want to get into that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do want to get into that, but next week.
Baron Anon-Pig says, "Who's your favorite Baron and why is it me?" But legit, who? Again, we'll get into that next week. Although, I do want to say, if you're listening, and this is also to you guys here on the podcast, there's a lot of cool lore stuff going on. So there's somebody that we may want to talk to again here in the near future.
I was thinking the same thing.
Eleneki, anyone else still using the bow that Petra gives? I can't take it off. They feel so good. Congrats on 100.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Have y'all gotten any other bows? I'm curious.
Yeah,
I got the-
the
I
one I'm
don't know.
talking about
Just the
is
energy
a secondary slot.
Is it the subtle gambit one, Wilson? That void one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I don't know if that's the name, but yeah, I also got that one's okay.
I think that is it. And that's the one with explosive tip and
Yeah.
gunplay.
Nice.
Well, that must have been your role. I think I don't think I have one of those with the explosive tip on that void bow. I have like
I have an explosive tip.
readies quickly or something type of perk on it.
I got a grenade launcher with snapshot and quick draw. I want that on my sniper now.
I
Yeah.
got Better Devils with Snapshot and something else pretty good. I can't remember.
But snapshot and quick draw
Yeah, that's great.
That's
on a
pretty
sniper?
great.
I'm sure it won't roll on a sniper. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I
gotta get that too on like play of the game.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was play the game.
Play of the game.
Cool.
Congratulatoron at Congratsbot says, congratulations.
Nice.
Oh, thanks.
It's a
Congrats, bot.
it's a bot.
It's amazing.
Azriel Speaks says, congrats on 100. Gambit Tourney. What fictional cartoon characters would you have on your team and why?
Fictional cartoon characters. Oh my gosh,
I would
I
have
should have
Ash
read this question
Ketchum
beforehand.
because he would have all the
that's such a
Pokemon.
Good answer.
That's a dumb answer.
Gotta
That's
catch
an
them all,
amazing
though.
answer.
Here's the right answer. the Roadrunner. Because he's going to paint that portal, and he's going to be the only one that can go through it, and everyone else is just going to run into the wall and get fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? You know how he paints the shit, and he goes into it, but then Yosemite Sam can't because it's a wall?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. I feel like I would. You said it's just cartoon characters. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I do find it interesting though that he asked which fictional cartoon character. So if you can think of any like real life non-fiction cartoon characters, go for it.
Rabbit.
That's what I was.
Can't use Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
I feel like I would pick Batman. Let's go with Batman. Let's go with Sonic. We'll go with.
You get. Oh yeah, I guess you get to have 3.
It's 4 people. Yeah, the Transformer. What's the main Transformer?
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime. Yeah, I go with Optimus Prime. And I get one more. Who would be?
Weren't you in the fire
No,
team?
that's 3. Yeah, you're on the fire team.
Yeah.
And then the Pink Power Ranger.
That's too many people.
I don't know if that's just a cartoon.
Kimberly?
You said
Yeah,
you said
Kimberly.
Batman, Sonic, Optimus Prime.
And the Pink Ranger. That's on my team. I see. Yeah. Sorry, Pink Ranger. Sorry, Kimberly. You gotta go.
I don't think she was a cartoon. Well, I guess they're probably cartoon versions.
Yeah, you just picked anything. You're a cheater.
No, it's cartoons.
Should have said April O'Neil from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
April O'Neil would have been a decent choice. Or at least an actual cartoon character. At least she's an actual cartoon. Not like the Pink Ranger.
All right, go.
All right, I'm gonna
Power
go
Rangers.
Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Obviously, that makes sense. I think I'd probably just go like Super Sage mode Naruto. And I mean, is anime counting here? Because those are really the only ones I think make the most sense for like all kinds of. If not, then it's gonna be like childhood. It'd be like Leonardo, Peter Venkman, and He-Man. If it was like cartoons, but if it's like anime counting, then that would do basically everyone from like Dragon Ball Z.
Pretty good.
I want Scooby, Shaggy, and Daphne.
I feel like Hove would just take like 3 Daphnes.
They would rip off like the Taken King, the Taken Knight's head at the end, and it'd be like a mask. Like,
Be Triton underneath.
Triton underneath.
Some old man and Triton be like, I got away with it too.
No.
For you meddling guardians.
It's gonna be Mana. It's gonna be Mana, and he's gonna go. I used to be the Alpha Asian, and he's gonna be all pissed, and he's trying to become. Anyway, last question from Botbuster again. I'm so blown away by this DLC that I have to ask one more question. What graphical improvements or new graphical effect did you enjoy most? I don't even know if this counts, but there was one scene that to me I was like, holy crap, that looks amazing. And it was the close-up of Aldrin's foot as he was walking in that puddle.
Yep.
It looked
real. It looked
did
real
look
as
really good.
real. That part was incredible.
I mean, the whole thing looks good, but I was like,
it
oh my
did.
god, that puddle.
That looked real. It looked like a real foot, and it's such a mundane. Like in retrospect to everything else that happens in the story, to say that him stepping through the water was like the most realistic looking part, but it was like I know it had like less to focus on, and you know there wasn't like a bunch of background particle effects and skyboxes and stuff like that. But yeah, it was that damn foot, man.
So there wasn't. I haven't been to the Dreaming City yet, and I'm sure I'm gonna think that place is amazing. But there is a like in the final story mission. This isn't spoilers or anything, but there's just a lot that happens in that whole thing that looks incredible and really sucks you into the moment. But even just the final place that you're at, if you just look at the floor, it's like I'm in the middle of fighting and I look down and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like there's like these it looks like you're looking into a telescope and it's like rotating on the floor around you, and it just looked awesome. And I was like, I'm distracted from even fighting the enemies because just the floor I'm standing on is so beautiful. So that would be my favorite part so far. And not only that, but like I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, and I saw somebody tweet about it, that like, did the PS4 like Pro or just the PS4 in general get some kind of graphical boost with this update? Because everything looks better for some reason. I can't figure out if it's just new icons or just like they updated even just like sitting in orbit, or being on a planet, just doing normal stuff, I was like, this just looks better. I don't know what it is about it, but everything looks brighter and sharper. I am using PS4 Pro. I don't know if it made a difference, but I saw
You have a
somebody else
PS4
tweeting
Pro?
about it as well. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it looks awesome, and I'm curious if anything has happened with that.
Well, I don't notice that, but I would say for me, it's when you kind of go in and out of the Ascendant plane. I guess I'll kind of leave it there for spoiler reasons. I think that's super cool. Like not just the transition.
I like going in and out too.
Yeah, the contrast there. And I would also say, again, trying not to go too deep into spoilers, but the mist effect that you definitely get at the Dreaming City when you're over there onto that side of it. I don't know if we've had that in the previous Destinies, I think, but having that effect as you like run through it was different to me. So in terms of like an in-game thing that they introduced, I thought that was kind of neat.
That's all I got.
And so we got something else post podcast, I think, to do.
It'll be quick.
But before we get to that, we already talked about Blue microphones and how much we love them. I think we're pretty much done with this episode. I'm sorry we didn't get to story stuff. I'm like really excited to talk about it. Like I really want to, but we just don't have time this episode. We're going to get to that stuff. We have a ton of time.
Do you remember that time I farted and Fallout called me out on it?
Yes, yeah. I do. And it went in the bloopers, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
I
I just thought about that because I just farted.
Oh, okay. Well, on that note,
Awesome.
that's episode 100.
You're welcome.
You're
welcome.
But no, thank you everyone for, taking the time to listen to this, like, weekly, pretty much, like, for 100 episodes. That's insane. Like, I
can't believe
get
we've
over
done
it.
100 episodes.
I can't believe we've done 100 episodes. I can't believe people listen to us. I can't believe, like, we have the clan family that is Resolute. That is awesome to be in, and to have these guests on from Resolute to talk to, and to have guests from outside, big people from the community who just love coming to hang out to talk to us. So thank you everyone who listens on a podcast, and YouTube. We just do this for fun. We don't get paid anything. We
Speak
have
for
never had
yourself.
an ad.
I just bought a
We've never had an
Lamborghini.
ad. Never had, other than the fake ones, I guess, that we did at the beginning that were pretty hilarious. But yeah, we just do this for fun and just to hang out with you all. And so thank you so much for listening. Y'all are part of the reason that we do this, and we really appreciate you tuning in on YouTube or on iTunes or live here on Twitch. Yeah, thank you all a lot for making
And
this happen.
Pornhub.
Or hopes your name is.
Can we start posting them on Pornhub?
Nope. It's not gonna happen.
Why?
This has been Lego, aka Lego Flash.
But what if I
YouTube
bootleg
Lego
it
LE Flash? Hove, where can they find you?
on Pornhub watching the podcast? We
Under
can't
the
post.
username
Listen, I bet you we would bring in some new viewers, some people with some different interests.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm just saying, we got to expand our reach. Nobody seems to be on board. I'm Hove. You can find me here, twitch.tv/Hove76, at least every Thursday night. Once I'm getting settled in, I would like to start streaming again once I'm settled in with my new position and everything. And also Twitter at Hove76. Talk to me. I like talking to people on Twitter. Just random stuff. Just tweet me anything. I probably will like it. And I don't mean
Especially
I don't mean the Twitter
crossovers between Avengers and Destiny memes. Tweet him that.
Yeah. Anything. Just tweet to me. Just talk to me. Love me.
Especially about Pokemon Go. Just tag
Yes,
Hove in as many
absolutely.
Pokemon
Anything
Go
Pokemon.
tweets
Just
as
tweet
possible.
at Hove76.
I quit the podcast. I'm gonna go start my own Pornhub podcast. I'm serious. I think that's. You want to be a pioneer, an entrepreneur. You want to do something different. That's what you do. Oh, I got an even better idea.
Triton, where can they find you?
Well, it seems like a miracle that we would have made it to 100 episodes after that, display
Yeah.
of whatever Hove was doing, and miraculously that we haven't mistakenly ended up on Pornhub. So great.
It
No
wouldn't be a
accounts there.
mistake.
But you could find me mostly on Twitter under Triton Please, all one word, the please being PLZ. How about you, Wilson?
You can find me on Twitter at Ryu Wilson. That's RYU Wilson.
Nice. You can also find RezoCast at RezoCast on Twitter. And you can find us on YouTube if you're only listening on the podcast version, or if you've been listening on YouTube, find us on iTunes or Google Play. And we'd love it if you leave us a review. If you've been listening for like the last 50 episodes and haven't, left a review, we would love for you to do that. Like, seriously, it would mean so much. Like I said earlier, we don't do any like ads or anything like that. Edit the podcast ourselves. It would be awesome, and we'd appreciate it so much if you just leave us a review. And you can find Team Resolute at Team Resolute on Twitter. And I believe Hove had a face that was like, wait. So I'm gonna let him say whatever he was gonna say before I end the episode.
I don't remember. But I do think that like if we did an episode where like we were all just like in the nude, it would fit right on Pornhub.
Gosh. Okay, well, thank you all. I can't believe that we reached episode 100 with this. Until next time, everyone. GG.
GG's.